Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and we're once again in Street A-class races, and yeah, we're in the 1956 Chevrolet Barbie movie Corvette EV, which, yeah, even though it doesn't have the best stats on paper, it is actually a pretty fun and reasonably competitive vehicle to drive on this game. Not a massive amount of upgrades. It only weighs 22 pounds lighter than it was originally, in fact, at 2,844 pounds, but yeah, it's definitely got more power, more torque, and yeah, it's certainly quicker in terms of straight line speed than it was in the standard form, which had 302 horsepower and 332 pounds-feet of torque from its single electric motor at the rear, meaning it's still only rear-wheel drive though as well, by the way, because you can't put all-wheel drive in this. You typically can't change the drivetrain on electric cars, so no surprise there. But despite being only rear-wheel drive, it is actually reasonably good off the line, especially because it is electric, so therefore the power is fairly instantaneous. So let's see what it can do. I'm likely to beat the Bone Shaker because that's kind of an OP car for A-Class, but just see what we can do against a TVR and a Nissan GTR. One issue this car does have is the fact it is only rear-wheel drive still, so yes, it doesn't mean that it's awful, but it does also mean that it can sometimes be unpredictable, especially when it comes to trying to get back off the line after an accident where, you know, you're trying to put the power down or whatever and it just ends up spinning out or anything like that. It can be a little bit, yeah, touchy to get back into the race in such a manner, so that is definitely something you're going to watch out for. But on the whole, it's reasonably good. It's got some understeer, which is surprising given it has no power going through those front wheels, but it's nothing that can't be handled. Brakes aren't the best, but definitely had worse vehicles for braking. It's got really rather good acceleration as well. The highest of top speeds for any EV that we've used on these races, only 162, but again, most times you're never going to get up to that kind of speed anyway. Although obviously it's a lot less than some cars can do anyway, regardless. But Nissan has gone completely wrong through there, and so it's another one, meaning we've gained second place. Yay for the Barbie car. Come on Barbie, let's go party. Yeah. I wish that was a thing you could do for through the link. I wish that was a little one that they put in. Well, probably because of copyright issues or something like that, probably wouldn't allow to. Barbie car maintains second place. Okay, if we can get this corner right. Which we do. It's got a surprising amount of good grip on this. Is that the Bone Shaker that we've beaten? Yes, it is. Must have had an off. So yeah, we now, yeah, that's a good second place. I think the Nissan 370Z might be the one that actually won. Yes, from 2019. But yeah, we now have a whole heap of extra power in this. We now have 501 horsepower, which is 199 horsepower more than stock, and it has 550 pounds-feet of torque, which is 218 extra pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, that's probably why it's so good off the line, is that huge amount of torque for in a car that only, like I said, weighs 2,844 pounds, which is extremely light for an EV car. Obviously helps that it's only rear-wheel drive and doesn't have more than one motor, but yeah, it's extremely light, and yeah, it's really rather potent in terms of acceleration because of how little it weighs. There we are on the podium. So yeah, handling issues aside, this is really rather a fun car to drive. But those handling issues are easy to tame in their own kind of way. Because like I said, the lack of grip off the line when you know you're trying to get back into the race after an accident is only an issue if you know you're full throttling it and trying to get going again. So you know, if you're careful in that regard, it's not an issue to get back onto the course and get back into competition. But yeah, it is still a little bit too tempting to hit the throttle as soon as you need to get back into a race. So just got to be wary of that. And obviously the understeer as well, and the fact that the brakes are not the best. Very limited in time in terms of the amount of upgrades you can actually give this car, but still, the upgrades regardless are still enough to make this car competitive enough, I feel. Especially in terms of the power and the torque. So small and light as well, it's really rather quite nimble, which usually is not the case for an EV on this game, quite frankly. Usually they're a lot more cumbersome. I think only really the Urban Rebel and the Mission R from Porsche are really the exceptions to that kind of rule. Steams out of corners really nicely. Just wish it had a bit better top speed is all, especially in terms of acceleration to that top speed. It does kind of die out around the 130 mark, to be honest. Win, 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 win. Yes! People trying to cheat never prosper. Well, most of the time anyway. The Barbie car gets a win. Come on, Barbie, let's go party indeed. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't know what the hell happened to the Nissan there. But yeah, acceleration wise, we're now able to do 0 to 60 in 4.017 seconds, which is more than 1.3 of a second quicker than it could do stock. And it can now do 0 to 108 seconds flat, which is about nearly 4 seconds in fact quicker than what the car could do stock as well. And it can do 162 at the top end, like I said, which is about 14 miles an hour faster than what it could do originally as well. So yeah, it's pretty decent in terms of those acceleration times and top speed if you have the enough of a straight line to get to it. But like I said, once it gets past 130 or so, it does seem to peter off in terms of its power delivery and the general speed that it has going on, which is a little bit of a shame because obviously a lot of these courses can have some straight line parts to them that are quite lengthy. Not all of them. Some of them can be quite corner heavy, and therefore it's more reliant on cornering speed and maintaining a decent rate of speed around the corners. This, for instance, is not a bad one in terms of straight line speed, so hopefully we'll do well here. I see the Nissan is bugged out after he got ruined by the Barbie Corvette. So let's see what we can do here now in this third and final race. going on with the bone shaker there. Right, so I've got an Eclipse up front, and got a TVR behind. Eclipse is actually pretty sharpish. Prediction though is it's not particularly great for the corners. I imagine they've relied on the all-wheel drive system of that vehicle to keep that power in check. Obviously not helped when slamming into the back of a Ford Bronco at speed, so there we go. Oh, very nearly could have gone a lot worse than they did. This car does not deal with collisions well at all because it's so light and small. Jeep, so much quicker through there than it needed to be. I think we might win the championship as long as we can maintain this position or second place. Which we're not going to do, we're not going to understeer wildly. Because we did not struggle with the getting the back on the track aspects that I was talking about. Definitely feel the traction control working overtime to keep this car in check. Doubt this would be a very easy car to drive without that on. It is my preferred setup for driving vehicles on these games, so luckily I do. These two are fighting, so hopefully that'll slow them down. Does take some work to keep this to be fast, but yeah, I'm happy with that. It's the third podium we've had. We've had a second, a first and a third. I think that should result in us getting the championship overall, but you never know how these points work out. It might be a dead level heat at the top. But still, the fact that we're keeping up with these kind of cars that are obviously quite quick in their own right, in their own ways, is reasonable as far as I'm concerned. So what's the leaderboard? TVR is not going to win, be able to finish this race. Come on. Tell us. Oh, dead level heat. But because I begin with BA and not BO, we've technically topped the chart. So yeah, there we go. Just because it's from a film, it's a film tie-in and it's pink and it's part of the Barbie franchise does not mean that it's not a serious enough competitor when it comes to racing, because I feel like we've done pretty well there. So yeah, nonetheless, so thank you for watching. If you've not tried the car out yet, it's in your gift box, so get it if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.